2020 Jeep Gladiator. Finally found some time to do a 50K review. It's at almost 51,000 miles. It's been set up like this, minus the Smart Cap. I had a custom bed rack on it prior, but tires, lift, sliders, bumpers, everything like that. It's been like this since just about 7,000 miles, 7 or 8,000 miles. Ran stock 410s on the 38s for about 30,000 miles. And then just before my first warranty at the 36,000, I think it was about that time, something like that, I had a shop re-gear it, and I chose to go with 513s. It's been great. Performed very well. Good road banners, good off-road, with the 3.5-inch lift. We'll go into detail kind of each and every little spot. So yeah, we'll start with the front. All right, so up front we got the Smittybilt winch, the 9,500 pound steel cable. No complaints with this winch. This has been on since new. I've used it probably 4 times. 2 times were a little sketchy, as far as pulling myself against some trees and trying to get out of a big ditch. But overall, no complaints from me. So then we'll go down to the bumper. The bumper is a Fab Fours bumper. If you look closely here, let's see if I can get in on it. You can see all the green little specks. They're not actually specks, it's actually the paint underneath. I found this bumper on Facebook Marketplace for super cheap. Went there and looked at it. The guy had it stage 3. I think it was stage 3. I don't really understand the whole paint codes and everything, but really good paint quality. Color match to that mojito green that the JLs come in, which actually I think they made it in the Gladiator too. But color match, the whole bumper looks good for what it was, but obviously it doesn't match the Gator clear coat, you know, this darker green. So pretty much as soon as I got home, we rattle canned it with the truck bed liner. Got that stuff at like Walmart or Artisan, I can't remember. But so with the Fab Fours bumper, it's a little stubby. You can see the side profile here. You know, it doesn't stick out crazy. It looks good, nice clean tight little bumper. So very happy. Good quality product. Pretty strong. Like I said, I had the winch on it and pulled the whole thing out, the whole Jeep out, and you know, the bumper's still attached. So the only thing I don't like, and this is a Jeep problem I think here, is this section here where you had that like lower plastic skid piece. I think when I take this bumper off to touch it up, to get rid of all the green specks, I'm gonna actually take a grinder and cut that, and on the other side cut it out, just to gain that, you know, few inches back of the ground clearance. And kind of looks like crap, honestly, just sticking down below. So we'll cut that out, we'll make it look real good. So coming into the front end here, we'll go over the whole lift, but the quick disconnect sway bar links. This is actually a kit from Cloak. It has their signature, I think it's like the zinc plating coating or whatever, which I actually had to cut these and shorten them like 3 inches. When I originally installed, the sway bar here was all the way up here, and I had these things pinned on the threads where the adjustment piece is here. So I didn't like that. I wanted to get this more flat to, you know, obviously it's slightly pitched, but I didn't want it all the way up, I didn't want it down. So I ended up cutting like 2 inches out, I think it was, and then welding it back together and just threw some paint on it. You know, it's held up like this for, I don't know, about a year now. And this piece here is actually, I had to grind the weld out. So you can see it here. Yeah, you can see it kind of rusting up down in there. So I had to grind the weld out because Oh, there we go. Because this was actually here, so when this and this were bolted together, it caused this to be way offset. So if you're looking at the front of this, instead of it being, you know, it was actually like cockeyed real bad. So I wasn't really annoyed by it because I got the means to address it, but it could be something that, I don't know, should be looked at a little better. Unless, you know, how I'm running it now is completely wrong and I'm looking at it wrong here. But since I adjusted it and fixed it, I had no issues. Pops in and out. I like the positioning, it's good. We'll come in on the other side here. Should be. So the other side, you know, this is nice and straight, no issues. I didn't have to do any modifications. But overall impressed, good quality, cheap. I think it was like, I don't know, $100 maybe. So definitely paid off well for being out in Moab and Colorado, and you know, disconnecting everything real quick and putting it back on, driving down the road. Everything felt good. So we'll go up here to diff cover. I got the Motobilt Aftermarket diff cover here with my nice rusted bolts because I threw on some real crappy maroon paint that I had left over that matched a Dodge truck that I had. So threw on the gray. I thought the gray was a cool little additional color. But when I painted the bolts, I really banged them up while installing. And I didn't do enough coats, so it is peeling apart. But, you know, I might grab a couple cans of Steel It and actually spray it all dark gray or black. We'll decide that later. But yeah, diff cover's pretty stout. Obviously not banged up or anything. So my last trip out west, I did have this installed, so it was nice. No issues. Actually, I don't even think I hit the bottom at all, so we'll put it to the test, I guess, at another time. But I do have those covers front and rear. I think they're a good additional piece, some extra safety. So all right, coming out back here, we actually have the Barricade Off-Road HD bumper. I think it's HD, something like that. No issues with this bumper. I think this bumper looks good. It's nice and clean. Come around. Good profile. Everyone knows with these Gladiators and the, you know, long wheelbase with the, you know, long overhang of the bed, the departure angles are always mentioned, how terrible they are. But I dropped this thing off a bunch, and there's our damage. So, you know, scraping it down rocks in Moab, that's all we got. That, and I think the hitch. If you don't have a hitch, throw one of those on, because that's where it took most of the damage. Let's see if we can get up in there. So that thing got beat up pretty good. I got these cool little wings now. But other than that, big fan of the bumper. Pretty good price range overall. The texture and coating is pretty good. This is like the only spot I see it's bad. I don't know if it's just a little stamp thing, because this little cover, but that's a little rusted. Maybe it's a tab or something. Other than that, the only bit of rust I have on it after just about a year is where I hit it and, you know, chipped the paint off. So in my eyes, that's pretty good quality. So good job, Barricade. Coming down to the sliders. These are homemade in the garage. Nothing fancy. Didn't have my pipe bender set up at the time. So these are all just straight cuts and notches welded together, and then bed line to all hell here. Bed liner is always good looking for like 2 months, and then it hits the sun and fades and looks like crap. So whenever I shine the tires up, I try to get in there and polish it up a little bit. But you might be able to see my crappy mounts on the inside, but it's mounted 1, 2, 5 spots. Welded directly to the frame because I was not planning on taking these off. But you know, who knows, maybe I'll modify them one day. But sat the Jeep on some rock ledges so you can actually see where it really hit and scraped, and now it's rusting, and going from there, I just gotta add another coat. But hey, building a set of rock sliders for free, not spending thousands of dollars, or at least $1,000. I'm gonna say they turned out all right, and you know, they've held up. They've done good. They look good, you know. So, pretty happy with them. So after the rock sliders here, we got the wheels and tires. We got the milestar Patagonia MT. The tire's a 38 by 1350 R17. And the wheels are obviously 17 inch. They are the Method. I think they're the NV 305, something 305. The bronze finish with the little simulated bead lock. Too poor to have real bead locks. They'll be here soon, probably one day. We'll see. Been running this now for probably 5,000 miles, maybe a little more. I ran a set of Pro Comp Steelies, which, you know, I love those. I always run those on my Jeeps. Then I took that out west, and I actually didn't damage them at all. Then I throw in the nice ring type simulated wheels. My first trip out. There we go. First rock ledge, bang, bang. You can see, well, you know what? What I did is I took a bunch of spray paint and I dabbed it with a Q-tip and kind of like patched it up. I guess I missed this, or my girlfriend recently did this, who knows? Because why wouldn't I paint this spot if I painted this spot? I'm gonna go talk to her real quick. All right, so now that we're at the back here, got the anti-rock off-road sway bar set up. I did actually a couple minute video install with this. Pretty happy with it. I actually haven't been able to test it out other than mall crawling in my backyard. I do feel it, you know, you do get a little bit more roll on the road driving as far as those driving manners go, but I'll probably upgrade to the front setup as well, so it's all the same, and then, you know, it all talks to each other when you're going down the road, and the front's not tight like this, and then the rear's loose, and you're all over the place. I do notice that more now since I put this setup on, but this is going to be real good. The reason I upgraded is this is cracked here. We'll go to the other side. But on this side here is destroyed. That happened at the top of Imogene Pass. I think Imogene or Blackberry. Imogene, definitely Imogene. Look at the sunset, turn around, come down the drop off, and my brother radios to me, "Hey dude, you're dragging something." And then, you know, we look on the ground and there's a sway bar link all flopping around. So I actually zip tied it. Well, I might have a picture of it, we'll see, but I zip tied it down here to the track bar mount. And then I drove the rest of the trip like that, and then all the way back to Maryland. So that was a little fun on the highway, but we made it. We're good. Now we got a good upgrade. All right, lift. We got the Clayton 3.5 inch. I think it's the Overland Pro. We did that with the Fox shock setup. No complaints at all. The paint and stuff is holding up all right. I think in the backside here, take a look at that quick. I think you are getting a bunch of, you know, flakes and whatever, but I mean, what are you gonna do about that? That happens. That's no issue. Paint that black when I get some time. But the lift performs really good, fully flexing. I'll try and put in a few clips of that. Yeah, customer service of that company is amazing. I ran into some issues with the rear springs contacting on the body, and I come to find out After some adjustments, I helped to alleviate that issue with the help of those guys. But it's bowed a little bit still, but that's my problem because I was setting my pinion angle really nice, and I actually had the arms extended like a 1/4 inch longer than they recommend. So we'll deal with it one day, but but it's not too bad on the road. It got a little wheel hop if I got the bikes in the back or something. But yeah, Clayton, good lift, great product. I'm very happy with it. And then we got the AWE Trail Edition catback exhaust. I mean, that thing's holding up good too. I made a little video on that. You know, sounds good. No drone. Highly recommend the product. Anyone's looking. And then we got the rear Motobilt Diff cover as well. Like I said, I gotta paint it better. That's me being cheap and silly. All right, I guess we'll get into the RSI Smart Cap. We'll open it up here. I don't even know what's inside of this. I haven't looked in a while. Oh yeah, oh my crap. So, I got the factory bed liner. No complaints of that. That's pretty cool. I'm glad I got that than having to pay. Well, I guess technically I paid since it's usually part of when you buy the vehicle, but yeah. So I got the RSI Smart Cap. This thing is hated by almost everyone I know, except all my friends that I read on the forums that love it. I personally love it. This thing is great. I have a CVT mount hood tent. I wish I had it on it for this video, but I've been putting the Jeep in the garage at night and trying to do little projects, like I trimmed the fenders. And it doesn't fit in my garage. So the tent came off. I've been just rocking it as is. But the cap's nice. You know, no issues, no leaks. It will get wet at this positive air vent because of the pressure and everything else. Like if it's a lot of heavy rain. But I mean, you got a hole with some like foam and this little thing. So I mean, you can't expect it to be perfectly dry, I guess. And especially if I hit it with the power washer, I'll get some drips, but that's fine with me. It does kind of want to pop back open if you go to close it. So I got my one hand holding the camera, and then I let go to hit the latch and boom, it opens. So I've seen that as some complaints, but that was not hard to do. So not a complaint in my book. I like them things because I get the campsite. I want to open up everything. I'm gonna hit it real quick. Boom. I'm gonna reach in, grab whatever, and we're on our way. And I don't know if you guys got any questions, definitely leave a comment and I'll try and answer everything. Yeah, the RSI cap's great. Let's see if I can get a little step up here, see if I fall over. There we go. So, yeah, nothing up here, no issues. You know, little scratches and flaky paint, but that happens when you only got 2 people to take off that tent. You see it right here too. I touched it up with that little Q-tip trick. Boop, 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 done. But I mean, that tent's pretty heavy, so yeah. Smart cap. I know you can see it in most of the video here, but we'll do a little walk around. I think it looks great, especially on a lifted Jeep. Stock Jeep, kind of stupid, but the stock Gladiator, I think looks awful anyway. when I actually bought this for probably, oh yes, like 7,000-8,000 miles. I think it was like 3 or 4 months. If this was the grocery store over here, I'd be parking somewhere over there, way away, because I didn't want anybody to see me driving this thing. But you throw a little lift on it, it looks great. Even, you know, they look pretty good with just the 35 setup too, so. But a couple little extra things we got. I got the Goodyear little rain guards. They're nice because Jeeps suck with windows down. You get a lot of, you know, fluttering. And anytime it rains, water's coming in, so it fogs up all the windows. It's annoying and I hate it. So we added those. That was a nice little fix. Also got the rough country quad pod, whatever you want to call it, set up. Pretty cool product. It's got amber and LED bright white lights, but the setup and the modules, I hated that. It came with like 4 switches and they were individually wired, so to even just turn on, say, one side with white and then like the inside with yellow, you had, I'm pretty sure it's 4 switches. So don't mind the mess, but I added the little switch panel down here, so I got this set up, turned on. I had to do my own wiring harness setup, but now it's gonna hit all white at the same time, and then we'll come back and then we'll turn that off. We'll turn the second one on, so I got it wired also the same way. Now you get the yellow amber, so instead of having to use all those switches, I was able to wire it separately, and now I can do white or amber. One thing they could have done is just giving you a 3-way, I guess it would be a 3-way, like a toggle or a double rocker, where if you click it in the middle, it's off. You click it up, it's white. If you click it down, it's amber. But I don't know. Sounds like I'm complaining. Maybe I am a little bit, but I have it set up the way I like, and I think it works great. It looks cool, and it, you know, they shine pretty far. The amber's good, fog, let people know you're around. So I think the rough country did pretty good with this little setup. I think they're also all the same. They just get stamped differently. One thing I want to do is get that KC light bar for the top, but I don't know if I'm ready to take another mortgage out. I do want to do maybe something here or underneath, but I don't know. I don't want to start decking it out with light bars or anything. I've never been a huge fan of that. So one issue, we'll call it my complaint with Jeep, and they might be recalling it, I don't know. It pulls out right there and it doesn't want to stay. So I have a little fix for it. I haven't done it. It was like a $10 fix, but I've been driving like this, I don't know, for a year now, or at least almost a year, and you know, it is what it is. But if you have a new 2020 or newer Gladiator, that probably will happen to you unless they fixed it. So get ready. So in here, we'll come back to this switch little panel. I got the 6 switch setup. I'm only using 2 of them right now. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. I was gonna try and do some LEDs and other side or whatever for like a rock light setup, but I have not gotten around to it. But plenty of room in that panel. Really cheap setup. We'll show you the controller box, because actually on my previous Jeep, I actually built my own little switch panel, waterproof, whatever, on my last 4-door. I actually did it on a Cherokee, and it was awesome. It worked great, but the time and effort to do that, you just buy this, and I don't even know what it is now, 150 or 200 bucks or something. But this comes with that switch panel plate for your specific vehicle, and it comes with a mounting setup, and that's it, man. You're there. You hook up your 2 power wires, you run it over to the battery, you get the switches all hooked up, run your, this side you run your wires. That's it. I have not blown a fuse yet. Hopefully I don't. But yeah, pretty cool, easy mod, especially for those that want to run 50 light bars. So definitely recommend that product. There you can see the multiple ways I had to cut and wire. I don't know if that's sketchy or not, but it's been working. It looks good. Here's the factory wire harnesses to each light, and then I had to splice them 4 into that side, splitting the wires so that I took the amber into one string here, and then on this side I did the same, and then the other remaining wires we pull back into this side so that now I have, white light and then amber light. But it's worked well. Haven't had any issues. It doesn't like flutter or anything when I have it turned on. Yeah, that's the only mod I have underneath the hood. So for the 50K review, my only problem I've had with the engine down here is the oil, I think it's the crankcase vent housing, whatever it is on the bottom of the oil at the bottom of the oil filter housing. It cracked, so it poured oil everywhere. And to be honest with you, it looks like it may have done it again because it's all clouded up, but we'll look at that another time. Check it out. It's not a terrible fix. I was actually lucky I had it covered under warranty. But we'll dig into it. Not bad for, 50, almost 51,000 miles. A couple dings, couple dents, scratches, but we definitely didn't take the easy way on trails. Unless you're my brother watching this, you'll call me out for being too scared to go up Hell's Revenge. I drove the whole trail, but Hell's Gate or whatever, when you start going straight up and down, I was fully loaded. I had a deck system in the back, stuffed to the brim, and with the tent, the back seat was loaded with all the gear, and I was very top heavy, and I got a little sketched out. My gut told me not to do it, so I didn't do it. So maybe we'll do it another time, but for now, I'll let him have that one up on me. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this little video here. If you got any questions, leave a comment, shoot me a message. I do have a Instagram handle for this build specifically. I started up to separate the little platforms, so I'll drop that as well. But this was my 2020 Jeep Gladiator 50K mile little builds walk around / review. Don't think we'll be getting rid of this thing anytime soon. I love it, love driving it. Yeah, thanks for watching.